Would you be the jerk for not wanting a puppy? We'll get into that in a bit, but first, am I the jerk for screaming at my father-in-law for 30 minutes straight after he called mother-in-law stupid for how she packed a cooler, and telling mother-in-law if she doesn't take control of the situation that I'm taking adult custodianship of them and putting them in separate old folk homes? In-laws are visiting and they're driving me insane. Father-in-law refuses to do anything himself. Literally whine screams from the guest room, "I'm hungry," and expects mother-in-law to fix him a plate at any hour. He's refused every outing and bonding experience we've tried to make. I got tired of hearing him scream at her from behind closed doors. This time I heard him say, "No, move that over there. No, put it there. You're so freaking stupid, mother-in-law's name." He's so used to getting his way, and I've had it with his attitude. He's used to throwing his weight around because he's tall and loud, but now he's too old to be loud and he went full Hank Hill butt anyway because he almost never gets out of bed. By choice, not because of being disabled, he's just lazy. So I stormed in and yelled at him that he does not treat his wife like this in my house. He tried to say that it wasn't my business, but it is my business whenever I can hear it because I'm half deaf, so it takes a lot. He tried to say that they've been married for 50 years and we work it out on our own way, and I said, well, you're in my house, so it's my way or the highway. You don't talk to the person you love like that in my freaking house. I was full banshee screaming at him and frequently over him as he struggled and stumbled with excuses. He'd say crap like he didn't say anything wrong. Yes, you did. You called her mean names. A good man doesn't call his wife names. He said she was being stupid, so he had to. No, you made a choice, the wrong choice in my freaking house. He would backtrack and lie. So I asked, did you or did you not call her stupid? He went off on another ramble about how long they've been married, so I screamed over him, yes or no, until he finally admitted yes. I told him that he needed to apologize to her. He said he would talk to her privately. I refused and said I needed to hear it because I know behind closed doors he's going to continue disrespecting her. He called me a bench. I told him that if he wants to have a relationship where we all cuss and hurl names at each other, then he's a freaking softie who can't man up to his own actions when he's in the wrong. My wife got home and broke it up. Then she took a turn screaming at him too because she didn't like that he called me a bench for refusing to back down against him. My wife and I sat down with mother-in-law. We told her that if she doesn't actively make steps towards getting home health care for father-in-law, that I will be calling APS, assuming adult custodianship of both of them and sending them to separate care homes. We gave her the choice of whether to divorce or not, but we made it clear we expect her to stop taking care of him herself. Am I the jerk for screaming at my father-in-law for 30 minutes and threatening to take custody of both of them? So I don't really know how adult custodianship works, but I'm assuming if it's in a position where OP even has the power to do so, it feels like it should be for a good reason, as in a situation where OP should insert themselves. You know, like a situation where these adults can't fully make informed decisions for themselves. I mean, how else would OP just assume adult custodianship and ship him out somewhere? I personally wouldn't fault OP if they did go to those lengths, but I can't lie that personally there is something lingering in the back of my mind over the concept of taking that decision out of the mother-in-law's hands and just saying, look, I'm gonna do this and split you up regardless. DYD commented, whoa, I started the first few comments and couldn't believe people saying the opposite to what I think. I think you're an absolute legend. Verbal abuse is domestic violence. I don't understand why anyone would stand up for it. Good on you for calling it out. Imagine what goes on at home. Your poor mother-in-law can't imagine the life she's endured. Your father-in-law is a pig of a man. Who does he think he is? I'd send him home and keep mother-in-law separate from him. I'm proud of you for calling him out. You did the right thing. So many complacent people around that do nothing. Keep chatting with mother-in-law. She suffered decades of it and is probably scared and frightened for her future. I hope she thrives. Also, hi, I'm Steven, and if you guys enjoy getting to decide whether or not all of these people are jerks, why not hit those like and subscribe buttons down below? Our next story is, am I the jerk for not canceling our long-planned trip because my mother-in-law scheduled surgery at the same time? My husband and I have a big trip planned for 5 weeks from now. It's a once-in-a-lifetime type of vacation. 15 days on the other side of the world, over 27 hours of flights each way. We've been planning and saving it for over 6 months. Both of us work very stressful jobs and very rarely get the chance to take any time off like this. Never did in the last 12 years. My mother-in-law has several health problems. She recently scheduled a complicated surgery for exactly the same time we'll be away. She knew we were away. We were not consulted about the timing. There's almost no other family around, and the few relatives who live about 40 minutes away either don't drive, have jobs, or simply can't or won't help her during recovery. We don't have the option to reschedule our trip without losing a significant amount of money. And honestly, we suspect she chose those dates partly for attention or to create conflict. There were other possible dates. Now there's pressure on us to cancel and be there for her, but we feel that after all the time, money, and energy we put into this trip, and how rarely we get breaks, it's unfair to expect us to change our plans. Am I the jerk for deciding to still go on our trip? OP's not the jerk. It would be nice if she had some kind of support or help, especially if it is a situation where after the surgery they're gonna need help getting home and taking care of themselves for a bit. But like OP said, they made it known in advance that they're not going to be around during that time. Assuming she's fully competent, she would have known when she was scheduling that surgery, especially if they were doing so with the expectation that they're going to need your help. I mean, they should have checked in. I feel like there's really only one person that can be at fault there. Individual Metal 983 commented, "Not the jerk, it almost sounds deliberate. You scheduled surgery for when we're away. If you're going to need our help, then you'll need to reschedule or make other arrangements." Our next story is, am I the jerk for telling my mom I won't be taking care of my special needs brother in the future? This isn't my real account due to the fact that I don't really want this linking back to me. I, 16-year-old female, recently got into an argument with my mom about how I treat my brother, 25-year-old male. I make sure to avoid him because he quite frankly makes me uncomfortable. I can't even have friends over because he follows them around the house looking at their behind. There's also been multiple times where he's known I'm in the restroom, but yet still comes into the restroom when there's 3 other toilets in the house. Not to mention, when I was in elementary school, I was taking a shower and turned around to see my brother looking at me while he was holding the shower curtain open. In that moment, I was in shock and he promptly ran out of the bathroom, inferring he knew what he was doing was wrong. Though my mom knows about all this, she still expects me to take care of my brother when my dad and her get too old. But quite frankly, I know I can't. He urinates and poops himself when he doesn't get his way. And I know I can't handle that. He also used to attack me when I was younger, so if I were to take care of him and want to have a child myself, I don't know if I'll be able to trust him. So, am I the jerk? You know, it's unfortunate that there may come a time where the parents aren't around anymore to be able to take care of this kid, but it's really not OP's burden to take on. And especially with the experiences OP had growing up, I especially don't think it's fair to expect them to. I mean, at that point, there's a well-established and stated trauma with that brother. Regardless of personal circumstance with the brother, when they experienced what they did growing up, can you really fault them for staying away? WackyCats354 commented, "Not the jerk. I really hated when parents let their special needs sons get away with crap like this just because they're special needs. Yeah, he's special needs. He's also got hormones just like all the other males, and he's being raised in a patriarchal society. If these boys aren't taught consent and boundaries and what no means, they become predators, and it's 100% the parent's fault. He's bigger than you. He's probably stronger than you. He's absolutely acting predatorily. I'm not saying he is or is not a bad person, but he has hormones and he gets horny. And the people of authority in his life have not corrected him and stopped him from acting inappropriately. He likely doesn't understand that he can't do that stuff because he in fact can and nobody has stopped him. There has been no consequences for bad behavior and it's always been brushed off. Honestly, I would get out as soon as you can. Don't tell your parents you plan to. Use a different address for college applications so they can't hide replies from you. You're honestly seriously at a risk of worse from him just because your parents refuse to see him as a sexual being and a fully grown man, infantilizing him and not protecting you." A Gold commented, "Let's be honest, it's not just because they're special needs, it's because they're sons. If he were abled, his parents would simply expect more subtlety, not better behavior or consent." Our next story is, am I the jerk for not congratulating my bro on his engagement? I, 32-year-old female, have an older brother, 45-year-old male. We used to be very close when I was younger, but drifted apart in the last 5 years when I moved out of state with my husband. We both moved due to having job offers and couldn't say no. While I was getting my things in order when I was moving out of state, I noticed that I was still attached to a credit card that my brother had with both of our names on it, and it had a balance of $5,400. He said that he would take care of it and I would be able to remove my name from it. Credit card company said till the balance is paid off, my name will still be attached. Well, fast forward 5 years later and the balance is now over $8,000. My credit score has gone from 802 to 612. I work hard and pay my bills to maintain a good credit score. He, on the other hand, had a great job and was left with an inheritance of $250,000 when his first wife passed away in 2019. He could have paid it off back then, a long time ago. He told me that he's getting married about 3 days ago, and I haven't responded to him. I don't even know his fiance, never met the lady, but now my mom's telling me that I'm a jerk for not congratulating him when he's so happy after losing his wife. So am I the jerk for that? I think he's the bigger one, to be fair. Update. Okay, so let me add a little more detail. I haven't used the card in over 5 years. He kept using it and making payments until he stopped December 2024/January 2025. That's when I started getting notifications about my score decreasing. He told me he closed the account and settled with a credit card company to make small payments, and that was 2 months ago. My score decreased again today. He hasn't responded to my text or calls. I bought a new house and a new car in 2023 when my score was around 775. So things didn't start to get crappy until the end of last year when he decided to stop paying this card. OP's not the jerk for not congratulating them on their engagement. They racked up $8,000 of debt in your name. If anything, OP's the jerk for not, considering legal action. Why has the older brother been allowed to have such a huge pass on this? It's $8,000. It's ruining your credit. Destro23 commented, "You should have said, 'Congrats. Now, where's my money?' Why are you not raising all sorts of heck over this? Why are you just letting him skate? You've let this problem persist for 5 years now. Sure, he's a jerk to you, but you're being a jerk to yourself by letting him destroy your financial reputation in this way. I'd pay it myself and then sue him for the money." OP responded commenting, "He has told me to pay it off because I and my husband have great jobs and can afford it, but he literally had $250,000 and didn't pay it off even when it was just him charging this card. I know it's not right, and that's why I don't speak to him now, but I just know he would have never paid me back if I paid it off." Our next story is, "Am I the jerk? My boyfriend used me to get a car I barely have access to." So a while back, I, female 24, helped my boyfriend, male 26, get a car using my credit only. At the time, I was skeptical but was under the impression he'd pay it off fast. We've been together over 9 years, not married, so sometimes thinking these things through for myself isn't always a thing, unfortunately. As of lately, I've noticed he takes the car and disappears a lot, comes home with a good amount of money, but acts broke with me, and then when I need the car for very specific days, he has no real schedule. He basically tells me no. Now, today was a little different because it's our son's first day of school. My boyfriend was napping, and I woke him asking if I should get our son or if he was going to. He told me to go ahead, so instead of walking, I took the car and our other son, both children under 6. I picked up our son and took a trip to the grocery store where I left my phone in the car for literally 40 minutes because I was overwhelmed with my kids and dropped it on the car floor. By the time I get back to the car, he's been blowing my phone up, freaking out on me and having called both my parents. Mind you, all of them have my location, which would have shown my phone was in the supermarket parking lot. I get back to the house, and he takes my key to the car. Also worth mentioning, he convinced me to sell my old car a couple of months back, and he's now 2 months behind on his payments for this car. Am I the jerk for seriously considering surrendering our only vehicle? I think OP's not the jerk here, but clearly it's not a car problem, it's a partner problem. I mean, I wish OP the best of luck. I feel like they have a road and a half to take to get to where they need to go, and it also sounds like they're probably not going to have a car to take on that journey too. Kingdom Key 10 commented, "Not the jerk, but you have bigger issues." He's financially abusing you unless you transferred ownership to him. If that car was bought only using your credit, it's in your name. It's your car and every missed payment goes against your credit. He's crippling you financially to make you completely dependent on him. Sell that car, leave him, and use the money you get from selling it to get a lawyer because he should not have custody of your kids. Our next story is, am I the jerk for telling my sister she wasn't always the chosen one? Before my brothers and I were born, my mom had a child with an old boyfriend, Penny. Her boyfriend/Penny's bio dad didn't stick around. My mom then met my dad when Penny was 3 and they got married. My dad adopted Penny. My mom then went on to have me and my brothers with our dad. Growing up, Penny was always this apple of my dad's eye. He gave us all attention, but he always went out of his way to make it equal. Around the time she entered her teens, Penny would make the joke, "Dad was stuck with you guys, but he chose me," or refer to herself as the chosen one. My brothers and parents always thought it was hilarious. I thought it was obnoxious. If my brothers and I were ever discussing what traits we got or didn't get from Dad, Penny would break in with, "I didn't get anything from him except his last name because I'm the chosen one." Now we're all adults and Penny still trots that out from time to time. Recently, it came up when my siblings and I were out with our partners for drinks. One of my brothers has a newish girlfriend, so she wasn't aware of Penny's story. Penny was telling it, shoving in that she's the chosen one. I admit that I was a little drunk and I said, "Chosen by our dad, but you weren't chosen by your first dad, huh?" Penny got a hurt look on her face. My brothers told me that was uncalled for. Even the new girlfriend was looking at me like I was a jerk. I said the story is just getting old. We've all heard it, and it's a little ridiculous. My boyfriend ended up calling us an Uber and getting me out of there. Well, of course, word's gotten back to our parents, and they're ticked at me, saying I was rude. I said Penny was just being obnoxious. Am I the jerk? I think it's pretty clear OP's the jerk. Like, I get it. They're like sick and tired of Penny's story, but clearly it makes Penny feel good, feel special. Even if it does come across as like putting themselves above all of the other siblings, I don't think it makes what OP said okay. I mean, my God, chosen by our dad, but you weren't chosen by your first dad, huh? I mean, come on, you have to admit that was completely uncalled for. Chaotic Nuclear commented, "JFC, yeah, obviously you're the jerk. Penny's joke might be annoying, but it's obvious she's overcompensating because being abandoned would cause such a big insecurity. If you had a legitimate issue, you could have discussed it privately, not drop a nuke in the middle of a family dinner." Our next story is, am I the jerk for kicking out my friend's neurodivergent friend for what I felt was ignoring boundaries and touching my most personal stuff? I'm just super annoyed that I'm made to be the bad guy, but in case I'm missing something, here it is. My friends have a buddy, uses pronouns they, them, they bring along who's on the spectrum and high functioning. They can drive, live independently, clearly make friends, and hold down a job. So, personally, I think they can understand and respect boundaries. They have this annoying and disgusting habit of burping really hard, effortfully so it's loud, and I have a sensitive nose and it smells. I don't care that they do that, but when it's in my literal personal space, less than 3 feet, that's an issue. I told them several times not to do that when they're literally facing me and talking to me, facing me, or eating right next to me with an entire plate of food being passed around. The end of my patience was then met when I had a gathering and they invited them. They, their friend, came in and I was warm to them. And then when I went to go to the bathroom, I come back looking for them to tell them that we're eating dinner. Lo and behold, they're playing with my hearing aids I put in a device to dry them out since it was raining. My friends just speak louder around me when they're off. I literally need those for work and my safety, and other people playing with, let alone wearing them, is unsanitary. I flipped out and told them to put those down, and he burped in my face, laughing, saying they were sorry, and tried to hug me. They drop one of my hearing aids on the floor and almost spill their drink on it, the puddle barely touching it as I grabbed it. These are $3,000 each. I told them to let go, and my friends were trying to get me to understand that they have troubles with these social cues. My response was, I'm allowed to decide what I put up with in my personal space and who handles my medical devices. Anybody who can hold down a job, make friends, and live alone should be able to respect boundaries. I don't care if they're on the spectrum, that doesn't mean anything on this. My friends left with them, and I've been back and forth with one of them about it. I definitely think OP's not the jerk here. I definitely understand not understanding social cues from like an emotional intelligence side of things. And I'll admit, I'm no expert, so maybe it's not the case. But I imagine somebody as well adjusted enough that can handle all of the things OP describes, if they're told, no, don't burp in my face, that immediately goes away from, I can't understand this social cue, to, I'm actively doing something I was explicitly begged not to do. You can't continue to burp in the person's face and say, sorry, I don't understand the social cue. Also, can I just add, one thing that grosses me out immensely is the idea of somebody taking anything ear-related of mine and sticking it in their ear. If I relied on hearing aids and I found out somebody else stuck it in their ear, unless they literally cannot know any better, I think I would be liable to just punch them. In no universe would that possibly be okay with me. Awesome Ocelot 21 commented, not the jerk. Coming from a high-functioning autistic, even if they cannot pick up social cues, you've told them several times your boundaries, yet they still continue to burp in your face. I personally do not understand what thought processes they would have to pick up medical devices, never mind they've been in your ears. I wouldn't even touch a person's crutches, let alone something so small, sensitive, and expensive. They are the jerk. They shouldn't be using their diagnosis as an excuse or shield. If it happens once and you express your dislike and boundaries, it shouldn't happen again, period. Our next story is, am I the jerk for leaving class early after being exposed to my allergen? Today was my first day of the semester, and my professor gave everyone mazapan, which is a Mexican peanut candy. I have a severe allergy to peanuts, and everyone was eating it in class, and crumbs were getting everywhere, and the smell of peanuts was strong. After the class ate the candy, we did a group activity where we had to put post-it notes on the wall and write someone we look up to, but everyone was touching all the markers and my contamination OCD kicked in. I felt uncomfortable and trapped, so I asked to leave about 15 minutes early after explaining my allergy, and my professor seemed offended and annoyed by that. I understand some people are uneducated about food allergies and how serious they are, so I get why he was a bit confused. Was I just letting my health anxiety get to me, or was that justified? Edit, I'm a third-year college student, and I am aware that I don't have to ask permission to leave, but I always do during the first week since it's all important information about the class and I don't want to miss anything. OP's not the jerk, and like in the edit, they clarified they didn't even have to ask about it. If anything, I think I would have liked to have seen OP explain a little bit further about why exactly it is. That's not to say that OP's obligated to share their medical information and whatnot, but I feel like it would disarm things so immediately if OP just kind of quickly explained. SJW7 commented, not the jerk. I would report it to the school as well. They need to be aware of your allergy and ensure all your teachers know about it too. If there's a problem, then they may be liable, so they'll definitely want to know so they can put in safeguarding measures. This isn't just some kind of dislike of peanuts, it's a genuine risk to your health. Our next story is, am I the jerk for not wanting the puppy my boyfriend bought for my birthday present? For context, I, 27-year-old female, have always had pets. Dogs, cats, even birds that fell from their nests. I also rescued and rehomed tons of animals, but I've never kept a male pet. My mom didn't like them because of the whole peeing everywhere thing, and I guess I just got used to only having girl pets. Plus, I love using my dogs like pillows, and I'll admit that the doggy boy parts that are always a little too present makes me uncomfortable. Anyway, I've had my dog, let's call her Luna, since I was 17. She's my baby and she 100% rules my life. She's not friendly with kids, other dogs, or most men, but she at least kind of likes my boyfriend, 31-year-old male, of 2 years. So my birthday was a couple of weeks ago. My boyfriend told me that he had a surprise, but it wasn't ready yet. Last Friday, I came home from work and found him in my apartment with a 2-month-oldish German Shepherd male puppy that he bought, complete with a balloon tied to its collar that said, "Happy birthday." He smiled and said, "Do you like him? He's our new son." I was shocked. The only words that came out were, "Where's Luna?" He had locked my dog in the bathroom because she growled at the puppy. I was furious. We argued for about 2 hours. I told him to take the puppy back with him and to not come back. He yelled some more and called me a misandrist before leaving because apparently not wanting male pets equals hating men. He also said I was weird for being uncomfortable around dog male appendages. When I told my friends and family, everyone sided with me. However, my boyfriend keeps sending me videos of the puppy, saying he doesn't know what to do with it since his apartment doesn't allow pets, especially one that would grow so much, and begging me to take it just until he finds accommodations. He says I owe him because he spent so much money on the puppy and was planning the puppy to live with me anyway. But I don't want the puppy. My current dog definitely wouldn't accept him, and in the videos, I can already see how destructive he's becoming. On the other hand, the poor puppy is innocent in all of this. Should I just suck it up and keep him with me until my boyfriend, we technically didn't break up yet, finds somewhere else to take him? Also, the puppy represents everything I don't want in a pet. I feel like he just bought himself a dog but doesn't really want to take care of it, so he acted like a puppy was my birthday present. So, am I the jerk for refusing to accept the puppy? Should I just take him in for a while? Edit to clarify some things. Some people seem to think I'm obsessed with dogs' genitalia, and I'm not. The issues with a puppy ranking are, I don't want another dog because I have a dog. I don't want to raise a puppy ever again. I don't want to own a dog that was bought. I don't like large breeds. I don't want a male dog because I prefer female dogs. The only reason I included that I don't like the dog male stuff is because I don't want to have that in my house. I don't lose sleep over it, but I prefer the smooth belly female dogs have. What I told my boyfriend was something along the lines of, you disregard everything I believe in a pet, to the extent that you even brought a male dog when I told you it wasn't my intention to even own one? Then he called me weird and misandrist. That's the only reason I included that part of my post, but in my attempt to keep everything short, I didn't include all that. The bottom line is, you can't surprise somebody with a gift of a dog, especially not a puppy. I mean, a German Shepherd is like a 10 to 15 year commitment at least. I love dogs to bits, regardless of what bits the dogs have. And this story and this, I hope, soon-to-be ex-boyfriend upsets me greatly because you don't just go buy a puppy as a surprise birthday gift. Not unless it was well established that it's for good reason and was hoped for. Homely Haddock 825 commented, not the jerk. Pets are not gifts, and for him to be so irresponsible and think he can just buy a living being for someone else is insane. He's clearly impulsive and selfish. At his old age, run. Our next story is, am I the jerk for telling my coworker I'm not his personal Uber? So here's the deal. I drive to work every day, and a while back, my coworker's car broke down. I gave him a ride once because, I felt bad and it was on my way anyway. No big deal. But then it just never stopped. Like, now he basically expects me to pick him up every single day. He doesn't offer gas money. He's made me late a couple of times because he wasn't ready. And honestly, it's starting to upset me. I finally told him I'm not his personal Uber and he needs to figure something out. He got super mad and apparently told other people at work that I'm selfish. A couple of coworkers even said that I should just suck it up since it doesn't cost a lot. And also he says he helped me a lot, but I don't remember I got help from him a lot, to be honest. I only asked him if he had an extra pen to borrow once. That's all. He was lying too. I don't think it's fair though. I was trying to help one time. Not sign up to be his chauffeur forever, but now I'm wondering if I was too harsh. Am I the jerk for cutting him off? OP is the jerk to themselves for being too nice here. Literally bless OP in every conceivable way, but please grow a spine and stop chauffeuring this guy around. OP is an absolute sweetheart. Stop being taken advantage of here. But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. Now, if you want to hear another absolutely crazy Am I the Jerk Here story, check out that video on the left. Or if you missed my latest video, check out that video on the right. That said, I'll see you all next time with some more stories.